So I'm going to do just a quick video on tithing. I get a lot of, coming out of Hebrew roots, everybody's big on the Sabbath and keeping feasts. And I love doing that. But then I'll talk about tithing. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, that's for the Levites. We don't need to do that. There's those money grubbing Christian pastors. I have people that are in my inbox that talk to me and new believers. And one of my first advices I give people is to put aside money and give it to the poor. Now, me personally, I believe in tithing. I consistently sow and tithe. I know that teaching has been abused by, money-hungry pastors. Let's face it, the money-hungry, grubby pastor is a cliche because it is a real thing. But just because there's cliches, I have these arguments all the time. I give an example. My current church that I go to. My last assembly and community I was in, we didn't even pass a collection plate for 20 years. God will move upon people's hearts if you're doing God's work. But when I give my tithes, I know the pastor personally. My best friend in town runs a soup kitchen that feeds 200 people, basically a week. I'm there. I'm privy to the finances. I know how much these things cost, and they cost a lot of money. So my church, when I give my money, first of all, it's God's money. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you're going to burn in hell if you don't tithe. I know there's testimonies where people are in hell for robbing God. Now, in my opinion, I don't believe that means that you didn't give 10% every week. That could very well mean that you just are blessed, you have money, and you have done nothing for God's kingdom. Even holding this phone in my hand, I can send $50 to a street preacher to preach the gospel. I can be a good servant just with this phone. So you have no excuses. So when it comes to that, when I give to my church, they support children down in Guatemala and feeding centers. And also it probably goes throughout the building to pay for. I look at the worship leaders. I look at the kids that grow up there. They're good kids. So I believe that pastors deserve NFL football player money, and NFL football players deserve, 100, 200,000 a year. But that's just me personally. I believe in tithing. I believe in alms. I believe in giving, because anytime you do that, God says in his word that he's going to get you back. If you help the poor, you will have no lack. That's a promise in the Bible. So, when people ask me, well, it was only food. Well, in the community I we actually lived on a farm. We used to joke around all the time, bring us cows and chickens, and they did. But, the facts are a lot of these people are well-meaning, but a lot of these people are just, that's their particular stinginess is big. According to the Torah, they exchanged a lot of their livestock for something called kesef. It's called silver in the Bible, okay? And what they would do is bring that to the feast to enjoy, as Deuteronomy 14 says, the things that their soul lusteth after, and to give to the poor. Now, I believe there's only one assembly that I know of person is Worldwide Church of God. It's a Herbert Armstrong organization that I started at 14 years ago, that they break the tithe down into 3 parts, according to the Torah, that one part goes to the assembly, one part goes to the poor, and one part is for the feast days every year. And I don't know anybody that follows that plan. So I personally do. That's why I tell people all the time, one of the best ways to touch God's heart and get more of his anointing, it's in Rick Joyner's book. Go out and take your money down the street and help some homeless people that can't help you back. Go do good. Because on the day of judgment, your finances are going to come into account with God, because I believe a lot of people's hearts, you can tell a lot about a person's belief systems and a lot about where they are with God on where they are with money. And that's just facts. And like I said, this is a short video. I'm not going to go into like I said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're going to go to hell for not tithing. I believe if you have resources, finances, and you are maybe not the best evangelist, maybe you feel bad because you just don't do much for God. The parable of the servants tells you that at least you should invest. Go pick a street preacher that you really like. Take $100 and go down to the soup kitchen down the road and donate so some poor people, the Torah, for all you Torah keepers, the Torah talks about the gleaning of your fields. Now, if you want to be religious and you don't have a field, your finances, you can glean 10% of your fight. Every time you're at that grocery store and you go on the shelf there and you pick your little food, pick 10 or 20 cans and bring it to a widow in the assembly. I mean, this is good. I mean, when I first got saved, and this is not anything to brag, I'm just giving instructions because people come to me and there's younger Christians that, like, one of the first things I did is I used to go downtown and just love on homeless people. Because there's something to that. You can sit in a pew all day. You can sit in your religious classrooms. You can study Torah all day. You can argue if people are going. You can sit there and talk about flat earth all day. But if you're not doing something, when you get to that judge, he's going to ask you, what'd you do with this phone that I gave you? And what did you do with this money? What'd you do with this Cash App? I gave you a device on your phone that you could send money to orphans around the world. What did you do with it? That's all I'm saying. That is my belief on tithing. So I'm done for the rest of the year. I'm probably going to start making a few more videos later on. I'm fixing to move to Tennessee for the next part of my journey. If you have any video ideas, I don't know. I'm not here. Remember, my major thing is looking for the person who's fallen away, to encourage, to exhort. And I'll do a few videos on other stuff. I got some stuff that I'm thinking about doing on the prophetic and later on. But yeah, this is it. It's just a short video. I mean, it's just basic advice. I tell people all the time, especially those that are struggling with their walk, at least invest. I mean, at least do good with your finances. Like I said, know where you're giving. I mean, don't just be gullible. Like I said, the church that I'm at, I know my pastor. I know my friend who runs the soup kitchen. I know where the money goes. So, I mean, be wise and be a good servant. Peace out.